fresh from his trip to Rio is television personality and pop culture expert Jawn Murray. Jawn, welcome to the show.
Thank you. And look, Dr. Avis, I don't know how fresh I am. That was an 11-and-a-half-hour flight back. I was not on Delta.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's right, because you probably would still be in Rio.
I'd be sitting in the airport somewhere.
Well, tell us about your experience there.
Well, let me tell you, it happened out of the blue. Literally, it was a Friday night, and Nissan called me and said, you have 96 hours to decide if you want to go to the Olympics with us. And I've seen all the U.S. media coverage. Should we be concerned? Zika virus. But I said yes. I went, and I had the time of my life. Nissan was a sponsor of the Olympics. They signed on because their CEO, Carlos Ghosn, had to be in part because he's from Brazil, and this was the first Olympics ever in South America. So they had 4,200 cars on the ground. They were driving all the Olympic athletes around to their different events, and they also launched a new car called the Nissan Kicks that's only available in Brazil. So wow. I had a time of my life experience with Nissan. They really did it right down in Brazil.
Well, tell me about your experience watching the opening ceremony. I bet you that was amazing.
It really was. Now that was a once in a lifetime experience. It was something that TV does not even do it justice, but to get there, you have to go through a 2-hour security process. You have to be bussed in. There are these long lines. So the only way I would ever go back to the opening ceremony if I went back to the Olympics is if I took my shirt off, greased myself up in coconut oil, and acted like I was from Tonga. Because I think when you do that, you get in a whole lot faster. But it was remarkable being there, and the energy and the love when the refugee team came into the room, it was something that I can't even describe.
Oh my God, I can only imagine. What's your highlight for you thus far, just in terms of all the various sporting activities?
Well, you know, I went to some of the swimming matches. That was a good time. Literally from my hotel, I can look down and see beach volleyball out my window. Some of the most beautiful white women you'd ever seen in your life. We knew where Kyrie Irving from Team USA will be after his matches, because it was enough white women to satisfy him.
Oh, my Lord.
Jawn, quick question for you.
Yeah, we got to cut this white woman conversation off.
Did you get to the VIP NBA basketball player yacht? That's what I want to know. Did you get to that?
I went over to the Puerto Rio where the yacht was. The yacht from the outside looks beautiful. Getting on the yacht is like Fort Knox. Listen, what happens on the boat will stay on the boat unless Draymond Edmond inadvertently Snapchats it.
Right.
But really a great time. Listen, I never was nervous about security. There was military officials all over the island. I mean, everywhere you look, there were men in uniform with rifles. Nissan had so much security on us that I thought I was Donald Trump at the Congressional Black Caucus. we were fully covered. And the other part is, I never saw any mosquitoes while I was there. Now, all the hoopla that we're hearing about the dangers of Brazil and mosquitoes and Zika virus, you don't feel that when you're there. So there are so many people who did not partake in this year's Olympic experience because of that. Apparently, this is the winter season in Brazil, and mosquitoes aren't really out in the winter there. And I mean, like a couple of days I was there, the high was only like 78 degrees. So I stopped putting on my bug spray. I stopped putting on them stinky armbands because I realized I was the only one walking around that smelling like funky bug spray in Brazil. And so I came back. I don't have Zika. I'm feeling healthy. So, I really came to the realization that sometimes scare tactic media works for ratings for TV networks, but it really diminishes your mindset going into a place like that. And thank God I did not say no because of it.
That's right. I mean, you got to take advantage of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities.
Well, I have maybe a less exciting question, but I'm curious. There's been a lot of coverage talking about, sort of the people of Brazil, and particularly Rio, that were being pushed out of the city because of trying to build up the Olympic Village. Did you see anything like that? Did you actually feel like you were able to connect with people who are from Rio and from Brazil and have spent their life like living in that community?
Absolutely. Now, Brazil as a whole is having some economic development issues. There are these neighborhoods there called favelas, which we call the projects. They call them the slums. And the most fascinating thing about the favelas to me was that these people, in most cities, the projects are in the worst parts of the neighborhood. In Brazil, the people go into the picturesque mountainsides and the prime real estate, and they built the slums there. So whereas you have these unattractive buildings that are in the heart of downtown, at nighttime, the lights from the favelas add so much beauty to the downtown area. What really is a slum to some adds so much character to the city at night. The contrast of those neighborhoods, I just couldn't. I was like, wow, like they need you even though they don't want you here. But I will say that the locals were very excited about us being there. There were neighborhoods that changed. I saw so much redevelopment in Brazil. They didn't finish getting their metro or their subway system together to get you all the way from downtown. I was in Copacabana Beach all the way out to Olympic Village in time, but they had buses and Olympic lanes, and Brazil will benefit from the Olympics being there, and South America was so happy to have everybody there.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your experience with you. You know, we're ready to go. We're ready to go.
Yeah, listen, they're there till August 21st. Get on the plane and go.
Awesome. Maybe I'll try Delta. I don't know.
Don't fly Delta.
Kickstart your day at 7 and get the news you need from the perspective you want. News 1 Now with Roland Martin. Every weekday morning at 7 on TV 1.